Welcome to the Beyond the Horizons podcast, where we delve into and expand upon some of the key issues raised in the Enable 2024 MSP Horizons report produced in conjunction with Canalys. With a reported 60% drop in activity in global channel M&A throughout 2023, in this episode, we talk to Matt Takhar, Business Development Director at Enable, about the driving factors behind this, from the rising cost of borrowing to a growing focus on strategic fit. We also look at the two key models for structuring MSP acquisitions, the centralized and decentralized models, and their pros and cons for both buyers and sellers. Hi Matt, thanks for joining me. I wanted to use these videos to really take a deep dive into some of the most important aspects of M&A with you. One of the things we saw with our recent MSP Horizons report was there was a 60% decline in global channel M&A activity in 2023. And also there are far more buyers than sellers in the market. Apparently 44% of MSPs are looking to acquire, but just 13 are openly looking to sell. What's really driving this? Are we in a saturated M&A market these days?
Yeah, I guess, Pete, you say some people would say that. I mean, especially when you consider how much M&A there was in the years beforehand, leading up to that. I'd say that the last kind of 3 years, a lot of activity and a lot of activity being tracked. Now, my personal opinion is around M&A at the moment is it's not so much saturated, but I think a lot of people are just being cautious. And that's due to the state of the economy in many, many countries. You know, with looming recession, or some would say we are in recession, borrowing money is expensive. So there's a little bit more caution. So I feel that we're going to see M&A increase, and I believe the report talks about that, especially going into 2025 and beyond. There's still going to be a lot of it happening. Actually, I spoke to a group of MSPs quite recently who said that they've seen 4 or 5 just this year. As a matter of fact, I know there's already been 90 M&A activity tracked this year. It's just slightly down on trend, but it's still very much happening.
Do you think there's an element of MSPs becoming slightly more picky about who they're buying?
I think you are going to see that, and I think you are right for that as well. So I'd say traditionally there's a lot of M&A around smaller MSPs, the bigger one acquiring the smaller one, 5, 10, 15 people, so on and so forth. I think now around M&A, people are being picky. They're looking for certain industries or certain sectors. So let me explain that a bit further. So it might be that an MSP is looking for an MSP who specializes in security. So rather than go and set up all the security offerings, etc. yourself, which can be expensive, it might be easier and better to acquire an MSP that's already an MSSP that's already in that space, because obviously you get the customer base and you get the staff as well. And we know that staffing shortage is a big challenge for MSPs at the moment.
So do you think there is an element of that people are looking for more of, I suppose, a strategic fit rather than just kind of, I mean, obviously at the start it seemed to be a bit of a land grab that people were buying everything, but now it's more sort of like, we need to up our security game, as you mentioned, so they're going and buying MSSPs, and that generally it's more now about strategic fit.
It is very much so. So another one that I've been involved with recently is an MSP based in North America who's now coming to the UK. So the easy way to do that, rather than set up shop from scratch, is to acquire a good MSP in the UK, and they've done that. And actually, they're on their second one at the moment. So that's another reason to go into another region, basically.
Yeah, that's
very, very strategic.
And that's actually an interesting point, because I spoke last year, I think, to a couple of the sort of bigger groups in North America, and was saying, are you looking to kind of move overseas and buy overseas and move into different international markets? And initially they were, one of them was very cagey about it and wouldn't really kind of commit to this. So do you think this is something that we're likely to see? Probably more so from North America moving into EMEA, because obviously the North American market is more advanced. Do you think that sort of international acquisition is something we're likely to see more of?
I think that is going to increase with the international, but also across EMEA as well. So I'm working with or talking to MSPs that are going across EMEA, going from one country to another country and acquiring that way, because they just want more coverage. So yeah, that is happening. It's not just all about local acquisitions and acquiring the one that's down the road or the competitor. It's going across the countries and out the country as well.
Mm. And sort of moving on a little bit, so when it comes to your options, either as a buyer or a seller, what are the different structures we're seeing in the market, and what does that really mean for the companies involved, both the buyers and the sellers?
So different options as regards to, I guess, from the seller's point of view. Now, obviously, the seller can exit completely if
Hmm.
they want to. They can be part of that journey. Typically, they'll give up the majority share and still hold some shares in place as well. That's probably less common. I guess from the buyer's point of view, there's a lot of backing at the moment. There's a lot of interest through private equity.
Mm.
So a lot of these M&A, well, so say majority M&A, I would suggest is backed by private equity, and obviously private equity are attracted to the industry due to the returns that they can get within it, because they know, if we look back, I was thinking about this morning actually throughout my career. I've been in the tech space now for almost 30 years, and it's hard to say by looks of me, but I have been. I joke. And back 30 years ago, there wasn't really MSP wasn't really a term. No, it was break fix. It
Mm.
was just the IT, the technology company doing break fix, and we all moved from break fix to recurring revenue, and that recurring revenue has been very successful. Now, I was at MSP for 8 years, and we took it from a 30% recurring revenue to a 6% recurring revenue. That recurring revenue and that return and that EBITDA multiplier really does attract that private equity. So,
Mm.
from a buyer's point of view, you've got a lot of support there. If you're thinking about going M&A for the first time, you don't necessarily have to do it by yourself. You can do it with PE, and PE, so some MSPs is a scary word. They think they're just going to
Mm.
take all the money and rob you, but they're not. They're there to support you, challenge you, and help you grow in the right areas and help you do that next investment. I think I might have sidetracked your question there, Pete. You might want to come back to it.
No, no, no. That's fine. And obviously, there are, and I've heard this. There are sort of issues. When you get involved with PE, there are certain things that obviously you need to consider about those PE firms, because some are going to be more hands-on than others, aren't they?
That is right. Yeah, some are really going to drive it. Others, if it's all going in the right direction, will just really sit back and maybe just
Mm.
attend the board meetings or the quarterly review meetings with you. It all depends
Mm.
on what shape you are. And I think
Mm.
looping back to your previous questions around about the market as well, around M&A and what's happening and people being pickier. I think the ones that are acquiring, the buyers, are being pickier with the sellers because they want the structure right. They don't want to
Mm.
come in and have to fix a whole load of things. They want to make sure your house is in order. You've got that plan. Perhaps you've seen some growth. You've got the right staffing, so they are doing more review, in my opinion, before they make the move.
Yeah, so that's great. I mean, obviously, once you've got the financial aspect of it sorted, then we're into talking about how you actually structure your business moving forward. And I know we've talked about this a little bit, and there are two really, I suppose, key elements or two key structures that we're seeing in the market. I'd like to kind of dive into those a little bit, and you can explain what they mean and
Sure.
how they affect the different parties.
So let's talk about the common one, which is what I'm going to refer to as a centralized model. So you are an MSP and you
Mm.
acquire another MSP and you tuck and you fold the MSP into your brand. So you become one. And then you benefit from centralizing some of those back office services that you may have had there, removing those out, streamlining your processes, so on and so forth. So that's probably the common model which most people are familiar with, especially here in the UK. Now, another model which is probably less popular in the UK, but definitely more popular in EMEA and North America, and that's the decentralized model. So let me explain that. So you have that kind of master MSP or that single MSP at the top of the tree who has invested in multiple other MSPs. However, you all run underneath your own brand. So as the owner, as the one that's just been acquired, it's great because I've still got my brand, I've still got my business, I'm still involved, yet I have the support of that main MSP that's helping me run, putting in standard operating procedures, standard processes. I've got some stuff I'm sharing across the group. So it might be one of these MSPs specialized in security. So we've got some shared security services. So it goes back to strength in numbers,
Mm.
basically. But you still have a lot of responsibility. So the challenge there, and I was talking to a group just the other day actually, and they said their challenge is what do they centralize and what do they not centralize in that particular model. But it is very beneficial and that is very, very popular at the moment. So another option for possibly people who are looking to sell their MSP but still
Mm.
want some involvement.
Yeah, I mean, that's the interesting bit as well, isn't it? Because obviously, when you it depends what you're looking for when you're looking to sell. If you're looking to completely exit the business, then that's not really the route you want to go. But there are, I think, a growing number of people that are looking to go into a bigger organ, or sort of almost like get that investment of cash without actually getting rid of the business. So would you say the decentralized model sort of is more appealing in that respect? I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say that that is definitely an option that needs to be explored. And again, I'm going to keep doing this by looping back to previous
Yeah,
points.
of course.
But we spoke about, why is there so much M&A in the market? Less so
Mm,
this year, but has been previously. And again, going back to my own career, where I've been in it for around 30 years now, and we've gone from these IT break fix to managed service providers, so on and so forth. It's kind of a retiring market. Now, if we
mm,
look back, originally MSPs were set up by somebody who was super technical. They're probably working in a large corporate or another type of business, doing all technical services themselves. Thought, Joe, I can go and start my own business. The
mm.
MSP I worked at was very much that case. And if you think, well, that was like 30 years ago, 25 years ago, are those people now coming up to retirement? Is that something that's also driving M&A? People thinking, well, actually, I've done this for a long period of time now. We've been through that journey. I'm not prepared to go to the next journey. So I think what I'll do is I'll sell up or I'll do something
Mm,
different.
mm. Yeah, and I mean, I think are we seeing because obviously there's another side to this as well that when you get into that kind of if you're into that position of like you know you're at the top of your business, maybe you're looking to sell it out, maybe you're looking to change it, maybe you're looking to sit back and let somebody almost like let somebody else come in and take the reins. And are we seeing kind of, I suppose, a different type of MSP appearing, one that's kind of like not driven by the traditional tech expert but actually driven by business people as well?
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a different owner, a different persona, I guess, come into the market. So, like we said before, it was very technical
Mm,
driven. Whereas now, I think because of the maturity overall of MSPs, the maturity of the industry, the fact that we're all focused on the recurring revenue and how that's changed, the multipliers you can get on the EBITDA when you do sell, it is attracting different people into the market to set up these MSPs. And of course, there's also things like franchise models now, which I'm
mm.
quite new to and I didn't know about. But there's actually people offering a franchise MSP model. So it's your Starbucks play, it's your Burger King play.
Mm.
You can go myself, I can go up to one of these franchisees and they'll give me the template to go and set up my MSP. So you may not need to be
Okay.
technical. And then let's not forget the fact you can outsource so much now.
Mm.
There's lots of vendors who do outsource services like a help desk, like a knock, like a sock, so on and so forth. So I have actually met owners who have set up MSPs and they don't have a single technician,
Mm. Wow.
which is complete change to where it was 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's a bit like that's a bit like how on earth does that work?
Yeah,
You know, I thought that was the kind of core premise of having an MSP is that you had technicians.
yeah. No, they're mainly focused on the sales. So
Okay.
run by a business person, I put that in air
Yeah.
quotes,
Mm,
but focus on the sales, focus on getting the profitability, getting the margins right, building the
mm.
relationships with their customers and also with the vendors.
Yeah. So that all sounds kind of very positive for the market, but one of the things, I mean, certainly as we look at the centralized and versus the decentralized kind of structures, are there any areas that both buyers and sellers kind of need to be wary of with both these models?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. And I guess, it goes down into the detail really. I guess, if you're a buyer and you're going centralized, you're targeting that MSP that you want to acquire for a
Mm,
particular reason. You're targeting them because, like we said before, maybe they've got the resource you want, maybe they've got the end customers you want, maybe they've got end customers in a particular vertical, like that matches a vertical that you're already offering or a vertical that you're not in that space. So that's the pros, that's the advantages. There's a reason why you want that business. I guess that the con is you really have to do your due diligence. And I try and
mm,
get my teeth in when I'm saying that word. But you really have to do your homework. It's probably a better way of saying it,
mm,
as to who you're acquiring and the state of what's going through. So if you've not done it before, I would strongly suggest using a private equity company. Or get
mhm,
involved with them who have done it time and time and time again. That's a pro of using PE, in
mhm,
my opinion, because you don't know what you don't know. It's
mm,
that old analogy. So if I was personally doing it, I would seek advice from people that I know within my own peer network. I guess from a seller's point of view, The pro is you may get to stay involved on a centralized, even on a centralized model. You may get to
Hmm.
stay involved. There may be an earn out period in there as
Hmm.
well, or maybe opportunities to take a different role within that business and then still be part of it. So have some shares and move forward. All depends on the structure of the deal. When it comes to running decentralized model, where
Hmm.
you've got that top MSP, if you like, and you're all running in your own individual brands, some of the pros around that are, I guess, it's less risk. It may be you've
Mm.
invested 90% in that business, not 100. You haven't bought the entire business. You're
Mm.
not rocking the boat. If you think about the change process and how people handle change, if you're acquiring a business and you're tucking it in, the first people that are going to panic are your staff. The
Mm.
second people are going to panic probably are all your customer base.
Mm.
So if you're almost doing it business, it's almost silent, isn't it? In a
Yeah.
decentralized model, you've acquired it. Maybe it's now this MSP is powered by or supported by the,
Mm.
the the top MSP, if you like. So there's less risk from that point of view from rocking the boat, I would say, in
Mm.
my opinion.
Mm. Mm. No, that's interesting. And I mean, also because you talk about doing your due diligence, which is a tricky thing to get your teeth around. So you talk about doing a due diligence from an acquirer's perspective, but also I think it's important people remember that even if you're selling, that's it's still important to do the due diligence on who's buying you. You still have power. It's not like it's not like you're just kind of being rolled over and being bought by somebody. You still have the power to say no, and you should still check out who it is that you're being actually being bought by as well.
100% right. I couldn't agree more. You're right. I think if I was in the position of selling MSP, it's probably quite tempting just to take that first offer, or
Mm.
just work with the first person that's shown some interest, especially if it got to that point where you want to retire, or you've just had enough of doing it, or you've been under stress for so much time around it. Because let's don't forget that setting up MSP or any business from scratch, being that first employee, you've been through quite a journey. I would suggest
Mm.
to grow that business, and you're very close to it, very passionate about it, and it might be I want to exit, get out quickly, but don't necessarily do that. There is a market out there. We've said in our report that there's far more, and you said at the beginning, there's far more people buying at the moment than there is selling.
Mm.
So you've got the upper hand if you're selling.
Mm.
There's plenty of buyers out there. Don't go through two or three at the same time. There's nothing wrong with doing that, and then see what deal works best for you.
Excellent, Matt. It's been really interesting speaking about this. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Pete. I thoroughly enjoyed it. See you next time round.